Welcome back to our FTN NFL team preview series. I'm your host, Mike Randle. Follow me on X at Randle Rand. And today we go out to the Bay Area. There is no team more successful than the San Francisco 49ers. That's why we need an expert. That's why we need Cam Inman on X at Cam Inman, 49ers NFL reporter for Bay Area News Group. Cam, thank you so much for joining us right off the bat. We're going to go wide receivers. You have plenty. You have talent. There's rumblings of Brandon Aiyuk here, Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall was selected. Sort out the wide receiver room to start here for a team that is obviously a Super Bowl contender every year.
Well, and also you have Juwan Jennings, a guy they extended. So and then you bring in Ricky Pearsall with your first round draft pick. You have Deebo in hand. And I'm still like the Brandon Aiyuk situation. It could be resolved quickly. It could drag on through camp. It could drag on through the year. I've always just kind of been of the belief that the 49ers, they extend and reward their homegrown guys. They've done that annually, and there's usually one big ticket item that they pay for each year. And it's kind of been earmarked that it's going to be Brandon Aiyuk. And, you know, a lot of those deals get done around camp time. The price tag has gone up this offseason. The thing is, Brandon Aiyuk's gone over 1,000 yards each of the last 2 years. And Brock Purdy obviously has a great connection with him. He's a young quarterback. You don't want to get rid of your great connection. And then that brings us to Deebo Samuel, who has a great connection with Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan knows how to use Deebo. Deebo knows how to find space and run through defenders once he gets the ball in his hands. And so everybody kind of gets worried about, well, if you extend Aiyuk, what's going to happen to Deebo like in 2025? Fine. Deal with that 2025. We're talking about 2024 here and now. I fully expect Aiyuk to be on the team, Deebo to be on the team. It's going to be a great 1-2 punch there. Also with George Kittle as a target. Juwan Jennings, you know, they extended him. So it showed the belief that they really love Juwan Jennings' physicality and what he brings to their offense. But now you bring in Ricky Pearsall as a first-round draft pick. And he looked phenomenal in the spring. It's a passing camp, essentially, where there's no contact. So I really have tried to reserve my judgment until we're actually in regular season action. But the guy's got great hands, really good routes. Has been received very well by his teammates, including Brock Purdy and Deebo. And so they have a really good wide receiver core, so much so that they could open it up even more so after Brock set the franchise record last year with 4,280 yards in only the first 16 games before sitting out the regular season finale. So there is your all-encompassing wide receiver survey.
It makes total sense. And listen, a lot of weapons here for the fantasy community. Let's go to the running backs, CMC, death taxes, extended, best running back in the game, period. My question is behind him. Elijah Mitchell, of course, explosive, but we always wonder about the injuries. Jordan Mason, they drafted some players here. Talk about how you're seeing the running back room. If CMC were to miss time, how do you think that's going to go? I remember last year talking about maybe taking some snaps off for him, keep him fresh for the playoffs here. How does that depth chart sort out there in the running back room?
Chris McCaffrey is running back one. Running back 1A is not on the roster because they don't want a 1A. They want all McCaffrey all the time. Obviously, he got his contract extension. He is having a heck of a year. Just got named Madden Cover Boy. He's getting married to Miss Universe. Got his contract extended. Holy moly, what a year, right? And he's healthy. I mean, he battled through some injuries last season en route to like the 49ers' first rushing title in, I think, 75 years-ish. And so he is set up for another great run. And there were durability issues, right, coming in with his time with the 49ers. He has played through a lot of that. And so much so that you wonder, do you draft an Elijah Mitchell? What do you do with Jordan Mason? They used a 4th-round pick on Isaac Guerendo, this kid that's really fast. He's the fastest running back in the draft. And then you also have to factor in, I think the thing I always look for in terms of the backup running back situation is which guy, who could be the number 2? Right now, they like Elijah Mitchell a lot because he's healthy, right? Can you rely on that? I don't know. They do. But then the number 3 running back, that's really a debate because Jordan Mason's done well the last couple of years as an undrafted guy, but they just spent a 4th-round pick on the fastest running back in the draft in Isaac Guerendo. And then you factor in this new kickoff return rule.
Yes.
And that to me is where I would put Isaac Guerendo. I mean, he hasn't looked great on the practice field as a running back, but again, you reserve judgment because there's not allowed to have contact. You can't really see what a running back does until you're in contact games, right? Preseason, camp, whatever. But that's a guy that to take a flyer on because he's so darn fast. And the Niners will, they will look hard into that to see if this guy is what it takes. But they also have a history of drafting third-round running backs that don't pan out. And you just kind of go, okay, well, then it's just all McCaffrey. It's McCaffrey or bust almost again.
I laugh, Cam. Everybody says Kyle Shanahan, a couple of years ago, always wants to share running back duties. Yeah, until you have Christian McCaffrey,
Right.
And then it's pretty easy what you have to do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, in the Shanahan's credit, they always unearth guys, right? And it's like in that Shanahan system over the last 30 years, there's a guy that can come out of nowhere and do really well. Matt Breida did his first year with the Niners, or second year with the Niners. So they had an undrafted, or the undrafted guy they got this year is Cody Schrader out of Missouri. Way smaller guy, but stockier, and he runs pretty well. So who knows? Maybe he takes out Isaac Guerendo if Guerendo flops in camp. So.
Listen, great stuff, Cam. Last question, then we'll get you out of here. Talk about the schedule and the defense and how things set up. I did an article for FTN Fantasy. San Francisco with a very easy start, weeks 1 to 5. They have the Patriots, the Cardinals in week 4 and 5. The matchup with the Jets is at home. But then at the end of the season here, they have a difficult schedule. They travel to Buffalo week 13, Miami week 16, and then end the stretch with the Lions at home from weeks 13 to 17. Only home matchups do have the Bears and Rams to keep it reasonable, but challenging end of the season schedule here. Just talk about defense, how the team's coming together with that strength of schedule here, obviously giving their success going to be one of the more challenging ones overall.
Yeah, and that's what you get as a first place team, right? You're going to face some tough teams. Those East Coast and far trips come later in the year, right? You got Green Bay to start off Thanksgiving week, and then you finish like the following Sunday after Thanksgiving, you're in Buffalo. So those are 2 back-to-back long road trips. Miami later in the year, before you get to the Lions game, which is the big marquee matchup. And then you also have the Chiefs coming into the Levi Stadium in the Super Bowl rematch. So, but the way it sets up now, there's a couple things. One, it gives them a chance to get rolling, right? This team, once they get a great start of a season, they can roll into a Super Bowl really well. And then there's usually the gauntlet. They have like a week 9 bye for the 3rd straight year for some reason, but so it works well for them. There's another quirk to the schedule is for the opponents they play are coming off of byes. And that would say, oh, that's unfair. The Niners are playing all these teams off rest. Well, guess what? Last year they played 4 teams off a bye. They still made the Super Bowl. And so there's really not major complaints about the schedule. It's more of a, are they, you worry about the Super Bowl hangover stuff, right? Still, the vibe I get around, because a lot of these guys have been through the Super Bowl hangover before, the core guys back in 2020, is there's not a sense of entitlement that they know they have to get back up there. So I think that's a good thing to see. And the fact that you have a quarterback in place that's done really, really well, and he's still surrounded by gobs of talent. Holy smokes. It's a matter of, can that defense withstand all the charges that are going to be coming? You have a new coordinator, Nick Sorensen. You have Nick Bosa, who's got another new guy across the side from him, and Leonard Floyd. Are they going to be the great pass rushing tandem that they've been long searching for? And when you have Fred Warner in the middle, and he's going to be with that Dre Greenlaw probably the first month of the season. And so that's an issue as well. And then the secondary is kind of a little bit suspect, rebuilt, not a lot of financial commitment back there right now, but Charvarius Ward is coming off like the best season of his career. So it's still a Super Bowl caliber roster. It's all a matter of once they get there, can they actually close it out? And so that's how I close it out.
Yeah, no one closes out better, folks, than Cam Inman on X at Cam Inman, 49ers reporter, Bay Area News Group. Cam, thank you so much for a few minutes here. San Francisco, they find franchise quarterbacks with the last pick of the draft. Looks like they're going to be really successful. Again, very excited for a season, and I appreciate a few minutes here. Look forward to catching up with you later in the summer. NFL just around the corner here.
All right, thanks, Mike. And I got a book coming out on the 49ers in a couple months, so go buy it. It's called The Franchise San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, that's a must buy. 100%. Thanks so much, Cam.
All right. Thanks, Mike.